They thought he was trapped, outnumbered, outgunned, buried beneath miles of crushing black water. 17 enemy warships closed in from every direction, their sonar screaming victory. But what they didn't understand was that they weren't hunting a man, they were cornering a storm. And when he charged to the surface, the sea itself would burn. The ocean was silent, not peaceful, watchful. Miles beneath the surface, where sunlight had never touched and pressure could crush steel like paper, one submarine drifted through the abyss. Its hull groaned softly, a wounded beast refusing to die. Inside, Commander Elias Crow stood alone in the control room. The lights were dim. The air smelled of oil, sweat, and fear. Most of his crew was gone, either dead or evacuated during the last ambush. The enemy had hunted him for 3 days, relentlessly. 17 warships from 3 Allied fleets now surrounded his position in a tightening net. Destroyers, frigates, missile cruisers. This wasn't a battle anymore. It was supposed to be an execution. Crow stared at the tactical display. Red icons pulsed around him like predators circling blood. His second-in-command's final words still echoed in his mind. "Sir, they've sealed every escape vector." Crow exhaled slowly. "Then we stop running." The trap closes. Above him, the enemy fleet moved with precision. Sonar pings sliced through the water like knives. Depth charge tubes were primed. Missile batteries warmed, waiting for the order. Their admiral smiled in confidence.
"This ends now," he said calmly. "He has nowhere left to go." But confidence is dangerous because it blinds you to desperation. And desperation creates monsters. The decision. Crow turned toward the engine controls. The submarine was damaged, badly. Hull fractures, limited torpedoes, one remaining reactor surge before permanent meltdown. If he stayed submerged, they would pound him into scrap metal. If he retreated deeper, the pressure would finish what the enemy started. There was only one direction left. Up. Straight into their guns. The crewless sub hummed as Crow overrode every safety protocol left intact. Reactor output spiked beyond redline. Warning alarms screamed. Crow whispered, almost to himself, "You wanted me cornered. Now watch what happens." The ascent. The submarine surged upward like a missile. Water tore past the hull as pressure dropped violently. Bolts snapped, panels shook loose. Enemy sonar operators froze. "Contact! Rapid ascent! Bearing 017!" The admiral's confidence cracked. "What? He's charging the surface?" Before orders could be given, the ocean exploded. The first strike. The submarine breached the surface in a column of fire and water, erupting like a seaborne demon. Crow didn't hesitate. He fired everything. Torpedoes screamed from their tubes, guided by pure rage and precision. The first destroyer didn't even have time to turn. Impact. A fireball split its hull in half. One ship down. Crow adjusted targeting manually. Second torpedo. Third. Fourth. 3 ships vanished beneath the waves in seconds. Shock rippled across the enemy fleet. "This is impossible!" someone shouted over open comms. But Crow wasn't done. The fury unleashed. Missiles launched from the submarine's dorsal array, streaking low across the water. A cruiser took a direct hit, its deck ignited, chain reactions ripping through its weapons systems. Another ship attempted evasive maneuvers. Too slow. Crow rammed it. Steel met steel. The submarine's reinforced bow crushed into the enemy hull, detonating fuel reserves. Both vessels burned, but only one kept moving. 6 ships destroyed. Enemy aircraft scrambled from carriers. Jets screamed overhead, locking on. Crow welcomed them. He surfaced fully now, every gun exposed. Anti-air cannons roared. Sky turned to fire. Jets fell like dying birds. Explosions lit the horizon. 9 ships. The enemy panics. The fleet formation collapsed. Orders overlapped. Commands contradicted. Some ships retreated. Others advanced blindly. Crow exploited the chaos. He dove briefly, just long enough to vanish, then resurfaced beneath another cruiser. Torpedoes detonated point blank. The ship disintegrated. 11. Crow's hands bled from gripping the controls. His eyes burned. The reactor screamed. But his mind was clear, cold, focused. This wasn't survival anymore. This was judgment. The final stand. Missiles finally struck his submarine. The hull ruptured. Fire tore through internal compartments. Oxygen levels dropped. Crow coughed, blood staining his sleeve. Still, he smiled. 3 enemy ships remained. 17 had hunted him. 17 would pay. He set the final course. Full speed, straight through the center of the remaining formation. Torpedoes fired in pairs. Explosions overlapped. Water turned black with oil and flame. 15. 16. The last ship tried to flee. Crow locked on. One more. The final torpedo launched. Direct hit. The 17th ship vanished beneath the waves. Silence followed. Aftermath. The sea burned. Wreckage floated where an armada once ruled. Crow's submarine drifted, broken but alive. Rescue signals echoed faintly across the horizon. Crow slumped into the command chair, exhausted, wounded, victorious. History would call it impossible. Enemy analysts would call it a glitch, but sailors would whisper another name. They wouldn't say his rank, they wouldn't say his ship. They would only say, when they cornered him, he didn't surrender. He rose, because some warriors aren't meant to escape the storm. They are the storm. The legend that followed. The world didn't hear about the battle immediately. Wars never announce their miracles in real time. For 12 hours, the coordinates where 17 warships vanished remained silent. No signals, no survivors, only drifting wreckage and a burning sea that satellites struggled to explain. When rescue fleets finally arrived, they found something that made hardened admirals go quiet. At the center of the devastation floated one submarine, broken, burned, still breathing. The man they couldn't break. Commander Elias Crow was pulled from the wreckage barely conscious. His body was failing, but his grip on reality never loosened. Medics said he should have been dead 10 times over. Pressure trauma, burns, blood loss, radiation exposure. Yet when they placed him on the stretcher, he opened his eyes. And the first thing he said wasn't a name, wasn't a victory cry. It was a warning. Don't underestimate desperation. Those words would later be recorded, replayed, studied, and feared. The enemy's silence. Across the ocean, enemy command centers scrambled. Radar logs didn't make sense. Weapon trajectories defied probability. Damage reports read like fiction. 17 ships, 1 submarine, 1 man in command. No tactical doctrine could explain it. So they did what frightened powers always do. They buried the truth. Official statements spoke of catastrophic mechanical failures, unstable munitions, a convergence of bad luck. But sailors knew better, because sailors listened to the sea, and the sea was whispering a name. The interrogation that failed. Weeks later, Crow sat across from a panel of high-ranking officials. Bright lights, steel walls, no windows. They wanted to know how he did it. What strategy did you use? What system malfunctioned? Who assisted you? Crow listened quietly. Then he leaned forward, voice low, steady. You're asking the wrong question. The room fell silent. He continued. You're asking how I destroyed them. You should ask why they thought I wouldn't fight back. No one spoke after that, because deep down, they knew the answer. A weapon they couldn't control. Crow was offered everything, medals, command promotions, a permanent place in military history. He refused most of it, not out of humility, out of understanding, because legends are dangerous to those who create them. Instead, he vanished from public record. No retirement ceremony, no farewell speech, just a file stamped classified and locked away. But legends don't disappear, they evolve. The effect on war. After that day, naval doctrine changed. Fleets no longer clustered too tightly. Commanders hesitated before declaring victory. Sonar contacts were treated with caution, even fear, because now every submarine contact carried a question. What if it's him? Even years later, when new technology ruled the seas, simulations still failed to replicate what Crow achieved. Analysts reached the same conclusion every time. The outcome relied on a variable we cannot measure. They never wrote the word, but everyone understood it. Will. The last transmission. Long after the war ended, a single encrypted transmission was intercepted from an unregistered vessel moving through international waters. No signature, no ID, no return signal, just one sentence. The ocean doesn't belong to fleets, it belongs to those who refuse to kneel. The signal vanished, the vessel was never found. Today, sailors still tell the story during night watches, not as a fairy tale, as a reminder. They say if you push a warrior too far, if you corner him with nowhere left to go, if you misconceive silence for surrender, you may not face a retreat, you may face revenge rising from the depths. They hunted him like prey, they surrounded him like victory was guaranteed, but when the moment came, he didn't escape the trap. He turned it into a